Okay, I wasn't going to make a video, but I see Scott has not just uploaded a video, but from the thumbnail, I'm going to assume he feels very strongly about this and feels very annoyed or frustrated or some kind of shit like that. So, I'm going to watch this. I haven't watched it yet. I haven't clicked on it yet. I'm going to watch this and I'm going to use his video as an excuse to make my video. My video is, of course, I have a lot to say about the killer entitlement. Let's just shut the fuck up and see what we got.
Hey guys, Scott here. I don't like making videos like this. I like my videos to be as unbiased as possible, or at least devil's advocate for both.
I had to volume test the difference. I always have volume issues, but anyway.
Hey guys, Scott here. I don't like making videos like this. I like my videos to be as unbiased as possible, or at least devil's advocate for both sides, and try to get a
I agree
balanced
with that.
discussion here. I honestly think people.
I agree and respect that, but I don't think he does a good job at doing that. If I'm being honest, maybe he does sometimes, but if I'm just kind of off the top of my head giving an opinion, I feel like usually he's not good at that.
That are one-sided are a plague upon DBD's community in general, and I even have like the caustic opinion that if you do not play both sides at least a little bit, you shouldn't even get to have an opinion on the game's balance. You can throw an opinion on the game, it being
Absolutely
fun
agree.
and whatever, as long as it doesn't involve making changes to the game balance-wise, that's fine. But I really think if you don't play both sides, you shouldn't get to have an opinion on the game's balance, because you cannot possibly understand what both sides are going through unless you experience it yourself. You just can't.
Yeah.
So
I gotta volume check one more time. Okay.
I don't like making us versus them one-sided videos. It's annoying. But I do feel like lately I am really kind of sick of Survivor shit. I am feeling very killer-sided lately, and I wanted to go over where does this end, because it feels like there's constantly been a carrot dangling in front of survivors, and the carrot doesn't really seem to be satiating anybody because it's not changing the issues of people disconnecting, giving up on first hit. Anything unfortunate happens in the first minute of the match, I just stop playing the game entirely.
Okay, I agree with this. Like, all right, so let me say this. As far as Dead by Daylight, the video game goes, it seems to be very, very clearly killer-sided. All right, even in regards of Swifts. All right, I'm going to say even in regards of Swifts, because you can take the Swifts. You can take SEAL Team 6 Swifts, right? But then they're against Godzilla Blights. And it's like, so yeah, SEAL Team 6 will stomp you when you're playing Ghostface. Yeah, right, you don't have a chance, all right? But if you're playing Godzilla Blight, you're not, So anyway, I agree, but the Dead by Daylight community, I hate all of you.
It's a bold strategy, Cotton. Let's see if it pays off for them.
Killers and survivors. I hate both groups. And he's right. Yeah. Oh yeah. I can't go fucking 2 games without someone just fucking throwing a tantrum and running into the killer on purpose to try to get hooked 3 times, or someone just leaves because of fucking who the fuck knows. Literally, sometimes you're just like, I can't even like think of like a stretch of a reason why this person just left or is throwing a tantrum or whatever. And then everyone else has to fucking deal with that for the rest of the game. The game does suck for both sides. I know that. And it's like, and in terms of results, to get the best results on killer, you had to play in the lamest way possible, where you're not even really playing a game. I don't know why people do it. I would rather lose playing like not like that. I would rather lose not camping and tunneling on shit like Blight than I would rather win by doing that. Ultimately, I just don't play killer anymore because I don't want to do either of those. I don't want to win like that, and I don't want to lose like that. You know what I mean? I don't want to do either of those. So I just play Survivor now, and Survivor's also miserable. I don't know why. I don't know why I play this game. I guess I just have nothing else to do when no one else is online. When it's like, I guess I'm just gonna fucking play DBD. I really need I need a substitute. Also, Sable keeps me coming back. What can I say?
Oh shit. Here we go again.
And I hate myself for it, but it's true. It actually is kind of true. Anyway, let's see.
Now,
I'll just let him talk for
it's
now.
kind of
and see where he
interesting
goes from
because
there.
survivor entitlement is just straight up more common than killer entitlement. And a lot of that is because there's just 4 times as many survivors in the game.
Fair enough. Yeah,
as
4
killers.
chances
So you're 4
to
times
see
as
it.
likely
Yeah.
to see
Yeah.
a survivor give up, not play the game, just, try to kill themselves or just run in a corner, do nothing, anything to just abstain from actually playing the game.
Yeah.
You're more likely to see it because there's just simply more of them.
Yeah.
That being said, I don't even think it's like a 1-to-1 ratio like that. If it were equal, it would be like 4-to-1, right? So it would be 4 survivors for every 1 killer that feels entitled and gives up during the match. But I feel like it's more like 8-to-1. I feel like survivors give up at a rate significantly higher.
If we're including giving up in the category of entitlement, well, I don't agree with grouping them together. On the topic of giving up, yeah, it's absolutely like it's happening way too much. He's right about that. But the fallacy is where he's grouping it with entitlement. And I don't know if he does that shit on purpose. That's 2 different categories that he's merging together. So now entitlement is getting all of the negative credit that giving up is producing, and they're both kind of, it's artificially inflating entitlement, and that's a fallacy.
But killer that doesn't account for the asymmetrical nature of that balance. So a lot of that is due to...
By the way, notice he's playing Nemesis, of course. I was just ranting about this earlier. It's like, have you noticed, especially killer, just by nature, though, of how many ways they have of doing this compared to survivor, have you noticed that when people play Dead by Daylight, namely killer, for the reason I just said, they spend all of their effort, all of their resources, all of their time and energy doing everything they can to not actually play the game? Have you noticed that? When they play Dead by Daylight, they do everything they can to not play Dead by Daylight. What's he playing? He's playing a killer with a ranged attack, so he doesn't have to deal with pallets and windows. If someone vaults a pallet or a window or they drop a pallet, he can react to that animation starting with a guaranteed hit because they're stuck in animation. If there was a perk that said 100% faster speed of dropping pallet, I would bring that every game because I'm so tired of automatically getting hit because I'm dropping a pallet against a ranged killer. I'm so fucking tired of it. Anyway, so what's he doing? He's playing Nemesis, who has a ranged attack that ignores the entire mechanics of Dead by Daylight. The whole mechanic is killers move faster than survivors, but survivors can drop pallets and windows. That's the counteracting to the killers moving faster. So suddenly they released a ranged killer one day, and then they said, oh, everyone likes this shit. No, of course they do. And then they just kept making more and more ranged attacks. And that's all people fucking play now, is ranged killers, because you bypass the video game. And then Nemesis has not only that, but he has 2 fucking wandering
NPC characters
that can fucking hit people and deny entire areas, and you can win a loop just because there's a zombie there and they can't play it anymore, and you can just like fucking hit them with the free M1. You don't even have to use M2. It's like, of course he's playing Nemesis in the background here, because he was not going to be playing Ghostface. I can promise you he wasn't going to be playing Ghostface. Why would he play Ghostface? We can play a killer that ignores the entire mechanics of the game. What does that say about your game when people do everything they can to ignore the game while they play it? I hate it. It's just, oh my God.
I mean, I don't even know anymore. Like, a long
I don't
time
either,
ago,
man.
I used to like understand and frankly even advocate for like, giving up or just DCing and stuff back in the day. This was when there was stuff like the original Legion, which
Yeah.
if you didn't advocate DCing against the original Legion, my only response to you is you must not have known what original Legion was, because
It's funny that I opened this video saying like, oh, in the past I made these videos. I don't know if I agree with them as they were, but here's why I said that. And I kind of stand by it. And now he's doing the same thing.
Just you do.
Sorry to
there's
pause
no
for
game.
that.
You didn't get to do
but-
anything. So that was an especially
What do you do?
ridiculous
What do you do?
thing.
There's a
that no one
pallet.
should
He
ever have
can't
to play
drop it
against,
because
and
it's
then they eventually
nemesis,
changed it
and he went
because it
down.
was just
I'm
insane.
talking about the background
The only
gameplay right
other
now.
thing
It's
that
like
I
this guy couldn't
remember
do anything 'cause
saying
of
that it was
the
okay to
ranged
DC
attack.
against
Stupid.
was Skull Merchants, the original Skull Merchants,
so stupid.
intentionally going for like server lockouts, doing an hour-long 3-gen back before there were 3-gen protections and things like that.
Yeah.
That I felt. I'm sorry, Timmy coming home from work after working 62 hours should not have to sit in an hour-long match because some guy's a masochist and
I
just
agree.
wants to.
But you
or I
can
guess
say
a
this
sadist,
about
rather,
the
and just
current
wants to
game.
just torture people by
He's
keeping them in
saying
the match
this
because
as
no one did
validation of why he
hour-long
used to feel
server
this way.
Lockout Skull
But the
Merchant
game is
matches
still
because they
like
were just
that.
really trying to win. They did it to torture people, and
I'll
so
pause just to kind of so you can I don't know where he's gonna go from there. It's like, yeah, Skull Merchant used to actually make a game, like hold the game hostage for an hour, and they would get the win when the server canceled the match because it was going on too long after like an hour or whatever. The killer would get the win. That's miserable. Yes, Timmy comes home from work and he doesn't want to deal with that. But Timmy doesn't want to come home from work and deal with a ghoul that's camping and tunneling, even if he gets out of the match in 3 minutes. Then he queues up and it's the same thing again for the next 3 minutes, and it's this miserable train of events happening over and over for the hour that the Skull Merchant would keep you in the game. And it's like, it might be worse because you had to fucking go out, you got to re-queue, sit in the lobby in the waiting room, right? And it's like, and you even like have a little bit of hope, like, oh, maybe it's something different. And you get into the game, it's like, oh my god, it's another ghoul. Like, what are you going to get more mad at? Seriously, because this happened to me today. You're fucking kidding. Dude, like 8 camping tunneling ghouls in a row. What is this video game? I'm not a huge fan of this. No. Someone needs to be doing gens. Bro, just gonna let me hit stage 2, I guess. I went down protecting the person on Death Hook, and now I'm on Death Hook against a killer that injures you for free. I didn't get to play this game, and it's over. That's Dead by Daylight. Are you gonna get mad at, oh my god, this Skull Merchant is still keeping me in this game, it's been 45 minutes? Or are you gonna get more mad at, oh my god, this is my 15th ghoul in a row. I've been playing this game for 45 minutes and it's been 15 camping, tunneling ghouls. And it's like, give me the Skull Merchant. I'm sorry. Give me the fucking Skull Merchant. It's a lose-lose choice. I don't, like, come on, get out of here. Anyway, what do we got?
So those are like the two things where I was like, okay, you should be able to not have to play against that. But there hasn't been anything remotely that broken in the game for years and years now. So my question is like, how much do survivors need before we
Skull Merchant
stop
wasn't
seeing
broken.
This? Because it seems like I said, there's like a carrot that's been dangled in front of them, and
people
they keep
could beat it.
getting
It just
buffs
required
and buffs
a lot.
and buffs and buffs. And
it required less than what some other things have. I'm sorry.
like a carrot that's been dangled in front of them, and they keep getting buffs and buffs and buffs and buffs.
I don't actually know what he means.
It still keeps happening. Like lately, we just had the pallet density changes, one of the biggest nerfs to killer in recent memory. It really heavily.
But is it? You're fucking throwing ranged attacks at people right now that the ranged attack breaks pallets. How are you going to have Nemesis gameplay in the background while talking about, oh my god, killer is so nerfed because of the pallet changes? And this is what I'll say about that, too. That only nerfs the ghost faces and the pigs and the doctors. That does not nerf all of the higher tier killers that ignore pallets because they have a ranged attack. Or, like ranged attack, or their nurse and their body is the ranged attack, things like that. Or ghoul, same thing, blight, same thing, same thing.
Impacts a
you
lot
get
of
the
killers.
concept.
I have felt it. A lot of other killers have felt it. There are a lot more pallets.
Oh yeah. A lot of other killers have felt that. That's right. Because there are a lot of killers in this game. You don't see a lot of killers in this game, but there are a lot of killers in this game.
Them aren't super great. There's still a lot more to chain together, and in the hands of a good player, chasing people with an M1 killer now has become significantly harder. So
Yeah.
killers got nerfed with that, but I'm still seeing disconnects. Like,
See, that's like another fallacy. He's saying it's true. It's not quite a fallacy, or I'm not sure how to categorize that. But he's saying M1 killers are having a harder time now, so therefore killers are having a harder time now. And I can't get on board with that statement. Whatever you want to call, whether it's a fallacy or it's not, whether it's kind of disingenuous or misleading, I don't know what I want to call it there. It's something though, because it's not quite right as a statement on its own, because nobody is playing those killers, and they weren't playing those killers before the Pallet update. They weren't playing them before then. They're not playing them now. Certainly, even less so are they going to be playing them. And it's like, you can't sit there and say, oh man, Pig got nerfed again and again and again. Wow, killers just keep getting nerfed. You don't get to say that, because then what? If you keep doing that, because that's the fallacy, is these lower tier killers are building up all of this store credit that you keep wanting to spend on the higher tier killers, so the rich get richer and the poor get poorer. And it's like, you're nerfing all these bad killers to be even worse, and then because of that you think you have credit to be like, well, let's buff killers as a blanket buff, and then what? Then you have Blight is even stronger just because what? Because Pig got nerfed, Blight gets stronger? Like, it's just stupid. It's stupid.
every 2 or 3 games in the exact same way without tunneling or camping, I just hit a guy, or a zombie hits a guy, or I use Lethal Pursuer and get a quick hit at the start, whatever. There's still every single game, or like every other game,
I think Lethal
someone
Pursuer
that just
is
feels
really bad for the
entitled to
game.
that. Oh, this wasn't fun for me, so I'm out. So that's still happening, even with the changes that just nerfed killer.
I want to say, I know I keep pausing. I think I'm supposed to, or else copyright or some bullshit. But like, I also keep having things to say. It's like, okay, so he's saying, yeah, Lethal Pursuer, you get hit really quickly and it's annoying and you want to leave. But that's understandable. I'm going to be honest with you. Like, yeah, it's still, I don't like really support that, just because like I said, it's like everyone just waited 10 minutes to get into a game or whatever, however long they waited. And now someone leaves and the game is ruined, and they still got to wait another 10 minutes to get through that game that got ruined because of the lever. And then it's like, next thing you know, it's 30 minutes has passed in your game session and you haven't even played a legitimate match yet. Yes or no? I don't support like leaving in that situation. I've done it. Everyone's done it, but it's not good. But it's also understandable why it happens, because let's say you're fucking playing Deliverance, and then like you have like maybe like some decent hiding perks, or you just planned on hiding in general, and it's like, well, Lethal Pursuer totally eliminates that entire element of the video game. Again, like I said, killers do nothing but try to not have to play the game. And Lethal Pursuer is very much an example of this. Aura perks in general are. Like, niche situations like I'm All Ears is, like, fine. It's kind of gray area, obviously, just because of the nature of what I'm saying. It's like, I'm kind of arbitrarily drawing my line in the sand. But it's like, Lethal Pursuer is the most egregious. It's like, the game starts, I see everybody. And then I'm playing some bitch ass like Blight, who I can fucking down somebody during the Lethal Pursuer auras, and it's like, fuck me, dude. It's like, oh, I was playing a build that kind of just does, like, I'm playing Shoulder the Burden or whatever. It's like, and now I'm like, I got downed immediately, and now it's a Blight. He's tunneling me. What's the point of my Shoulder the Burden? I'm going to take that opportunity to say I would very much love a game mode where there were just no perks, no items, and no add-ons. It was just killer with their killer power and survivors with each other. Go at it. But anyway, let's go.
And next patch, we're going to get even more insanely strong survivor buffs, and killer, again, is not really getting anything. They're getting jack shit. I guess some more blood points.
They don't
That's
need
nice.
jack shit.
But for the most part, survivor...
And the stuff survivors are getting doesn't have anything to do with what's good about killer. Sure, like, oh no, botany knowledge. Botany knowledge could be like, increases healing speed by 200%. It wouldn't matter. You could say that's a huge survivor buff, quote unquote. But what does that have to do with camping and tunneling? You see what I mean? It's
Are
the
getting
fallacy.
massively
It just
buffed. They now have adamantium armor after unhook, and tunneling is being severely nerfed, and proxy camping
they
is being
reverted
nerfed.
that.
and
When
slugging
was
is
this
being
video made? 4 hours ago. Okay, whatever. Go ahead.
being nerfed. Which, a lot of these things I do think are bad for the health of the game, and having some adjustments there is fine. But, dude, my worry is, with, like, the pallet density changes, it's still happening. What if with all these buffs, it still happens? Like, I actually think, even with all these changes, we're still going to have people that feel like it's just not enough. And then you have to draw the line somewhere. I understand, getting face camped to death by a Bubba.
Because it's not enough. In a way, it's not that it's not enough, it's that it's not the right things. Like I said, it's like, you can buff botany knowledge and fucking all this, like, prove thyself all you want, but it's like, the problem is camping and tunneling. Those perks have nothing to do with it. You can,
That needed fixing, and it got fixed and stuff like that. I understand being slugged for 4 minutes to death probably needs fixing and stuff like that, but we're getting to the point where I'm like, okay, they're basically fixing almost everything that there is a problem with in Survivor. And even solo queue is getting buffs with the unhook bar that gives you sort of a base kit kindred effect. Solo queue Survivor has gotten numerous.
So he agrees with the
UI
changes, but he's like, what, jealous?
The worst side of Survivor, solo queue. They're making that better as well.
And they're not doing the same.
I pretty much only play solo queue. I
Killer
understand how miserable solo queue can be, but you guys
Killer does have problems, but only if you don't
about solo queue. You guys got to realize most of the time what you're complaining about is your teammates. You're not even complaining about the game.
That's
but
wrong.
then people want the game to be easier when really it's your teammates and matchmaking that's the problem. So we have a disjointed request from survivors that are entitled. And they're not even trying to fix the correct thing. It's really, you're just getting shitty teammates, and that's why you're losing.
Look at that. Look at that. Like, I'm talking about the background gameplay. Watch the background gameplay.
Not even trying to fix the correct thing. It's really, you're just getting shitty teammates. And
she drops it. He has the whip. And she's, like, quite a bit ahead of him. But you're locked in that animation for so long that he was able to reactively have the whip, throw it out. And by the way, she had nowhere to go where she doesn't get downed there. If she tried to crouch in the corner of the upper end of the pallet, she still goes down there because of how the whip is. And that's exactly what I'm fucking talking about. And it's crazy that he has the audacity to be all laser eyes and Survivor entitlement is at a boiling point while he's fucking... He's like,
that's why you're losing.
He's annihilating this game right now. He's got 4 hooks. He's about to get his 5th hook. They only did 1 generator. He's dominating this game, and he's talking about...
is bad because the matchmaking is bad, and then people go, well, that means the game needs to be easier. But that's not your issue. So that's one of the main problems here. They're not focusing on the correct...
And what's the response? Oh, Scott's just better than everybody. Like, there's no, good response.
Thing to complain about,
whatever.
Which is mostly, and forever will be probably, the matchmaking itself. Now, the reason that's basically never going to be fixed is because the escapes set your MMR. That's the only thing that matters. And as everyone knows, just escaping does not dictate whether or not you're good at surviving.
I wasn't listening to him, but what he's talking about right now,
on kills is a lot more reasonable because you kill everyone, you're typically doing well. But if you get chased for 5 gens and then die, the game still thinks you're worse. So the matchmaking is just doomed to fail. And then a lot of solo queue players attribute that to why the game is so bad.
He is absolutely correct about this. I've been fucking
fine.
yelling about
Survivors,
this for a
in my
while.
opinion, now, you got enough shit. You guys are fine now. Yes, having bad teammates can sully the whole experience. I understand that. But you realize you're not complaining about the balance of the game itself.
No, we are. All right. So you're right that we have enough. Okay? But where you're wrong is how you're calculating that in your brain. I'm saying your sentence, your statement of survivors have enough, that's correct. But the problem is that what killers have, which is camping and tunneling, that is too much. Survivors have enough. They can stay where they are as long as the camping and tunneling comes back down here, which is pretty much by removing it, I guess. I don't really know how you fix it without removing it. It's... You can just do whatever you want. You can do literally anything. So, of course, you can do that, I suppose. But, it's like survivors are fine where they are, but killers are too much where they are because of camping and tunneling. And if you neuter that, even if killer goes down here by getting rid of camping and tunneling, so be it for now. We will then figure out how to bring them up if needed without reintroducing camping and tunneling. We need to keep camping and tunneling out of the game and then figure out how to do, or like do the, whatever you got to do, right? But like, Jesus.
But we keep getting nerfs to killer, like the game itself. That's
that is what needs to happen, though. But the right nerfs to killer needs to happen, you know.
the disjointed thing that's leading to so many issues here.
And it has to be to all
so
killers.
I
Not,
don't really know where
what happened
this
with the
whole
pallets
thing
is the
going
worst
to
killers
end.
got nerfed.
I,
The best killers
I do
didn't
really
get changed.
think it's got to stop at some point, right? Because eventually we're going to get to a point where if survivors are still not happy, they're still not happy, they get more and more and more, and they're still not happy,
Yeah.
Eventually we're going to get to a point where
Or you
killers
spawn
are
in the
just
exit
simply
gate,
not
yeah.
going to play the weak killers or mid-tier killers anymore.
Wow. It's almost like we're already at that point, Scott.
Because everybody enjoys winning. Losing every once in a while, no big deal. It's not going to ruin your day or anything like that. But if you lose and lose and lose and lose and lose and lose because you're playing Pig or, one of the other 27 killers or whatever that are frankly not good enough to compete anymore with a lot of these map changes, then what we're going to have is negative reinforcement leads to a desire to remove that negative reinforcement.
You know what's annoying? It's almost like he would agree with me, but he's just not good at saying words or something. I don't know what's going on here. It's like, how is it that I'm watching this video and all of a sudden he's kind of like saying what I have been saying during me watching this video, but he's only just like, what's going on? Is he just bad
which means
at
we're
like
just only going to see like the top 5 or
talking
6
and
killers for the
thinking?
rest of the game's lifespan, because people will eventually reach a boiling point where they can't handle losing anymore. And I'm not saying it's impossible to win with Peg or
That's
anything
where
like
killers
that.
are at.
I'm just saying
well,
it's being
it's that and the fact that the win streak culture is also just bad for the game, which I've made videos about.
made
but whatever.
disproportionately harder to do so in such a way that doesn't reflect the problem of the game itself,
much
which is
longer
the
we got?
matchmaking, not the
Okay,
actual
fair enough.
balance of maps and killers and things like that. Obviously, there's still a few annoying things on killers, and some of the top tiers are still extremely oppressive in the right scenarios, but the game as a
like the
whole
game loading.
right now is shifting to just 100% being survivor-sided. I would love to see the kill rates from
What game is he playing where that's his analysis? Jesus. And he's about to say some bullshit. Dude, who cares about kill rates? Who cares about stats? What is it like for the longest time, maybe even still currently, like Nurse? According to statistics, Nurse is the worst killer in the game because she has like low kill rates. Like, what are we talking about, dude?
like the month or two before they added the pallet density changes to right now. I would love to see that because I can guarantee they have gone down. I know my kill rates have gone down, not super significantly. It's not like I can't win anymore or anything like that, but I have noticed it's gotten harder for sure.
And that kind of just triggered in my head, like, this is probably where I need to segue into the why killers are, like, how we can see that they're so entitled. What did he just say? I can still win, but it's harder. All right. Okay. Killers, and this is in part because of the win streak culture that I've mentioned just a moment ago and have made videos about. This is the definition of entitlement. They expect to be able to win the vast majority of their matches. When they have like a hard game and they like still win, they're like, oh my god, what's going on? That's crazy. That shouldn't happen. And it's like, not only is it entitled, but it's also like arrogant. It's like, do you just think you are the best motherfucker to ever grace this earth? Like, yeah, you're supposed to have tough games. You're expected to have tough games. You're expected to lose. You're roughly expected to lose 50% of your matches. But God forbid that ever happened for killers. I can tell you right now, I don't escape 50% of my matches as Survivor. I don't think really anyone does. But this is kind of what I'm talking about. When there's like a slight speed bump from life in the fast lane as a killer, they don't know what to do and they think everything is wrong. Here, this is what I'm gonna show you something here, because I was talking about this with my friend on Discord and he was showing me this. Okay, you reading that? You're reading that nice and good. The highest recorded win streak in Street Fighter 6 is at least 67 games, according to this YouTube, whatever. Yeah, okay. Achieving a streak that high is considered extremely difficult, especially against other master ranked players. Okay. Counter-Strike. Okay. Yeah, Ninjas in Pajamas. Yeah, I'm familiar with that name. They had a win streak of 87 in Counter-Strike. That's actually like insane. 29 LAN wins. That's insane. Surpassing the previous record of 23. They shattered that record. That's a +6, 23 to 29. That's impressive. Okay. I don't know what the fuck OG. One guy left. But I don't know what the fuck game that is. He linked me that. He didn't tell me what game it is. There's like another game, another mystery game. Yeah. Oh, League of Legends. 27 wins. In League of Legends, 27 is the record. That's very surprising that it's that low. But I mean, I guess because I just looked at like a 94, like 87 in Counter-Strike is actually insane. Because 27, I mean, yeah, 27 is huge. And then what? Then we go to Dead by Daylight. Do you even understand this? Do you even understand this? I didn't even finish reading this. This is really funny. The highest recorded killer streak in DVD is 1,947. With Blight, with the blanket before it was broken is really funny for an AI overview. For survivors, it's less clear, but about 5 or 7. For a duo, it was mentioned. I mean, I think we know that 5 or 7 has been beaten. This is what we're going to do. We got a mention of 219. With Hens. Hens is a fucking popular streamer. He's decent. I think he's decent. Here we go. 12 months ago, the world record survivor streak just ended. 173. Even whenever, I don't know what it's like the first comment. Yeah, this guy's right. The fact that the highest streak is 173 while killers frequently get over 1,000 is insane. It is insane. It is insane. Because what are we talking about, dude? Cut back to Scott and his freeze frame face talking about survivor entitlement. Killers expect to get 1,000 plus win streaks before losing. And then they have the audacity to say, oh no, survivors are entitled. They want more pallets. They want camping and tunneling to go away. Oh no. And it's like, what are we talking about? Here's the thing. And it's like, all right, so like, listen to these players talk. We just looked at win streaks, right? All right, so like Street Fighter, 67 win streak. League of Legends, 27. These are records. This is an insane record, in my opinion. Counter-Strike, 87 win streak in Counter-Strike is insane. You don't even understand how insane that is. You don't even understand it. You don't even, like, you literally don't even understand, unless you know that scene or that type of game. Like, you know that's an insane record. I think the 29 LAN record might be even more insane because LANs are like so pure. So it's like, that's like a pure win streak. That's like, it's like untainted. It's beautiful. That's insane. It's a shame they didn't win one more for like around 30, but whatever. And it's like, that's insane. And then you have motherfucking Dead by Daylight. 1,940 fucking 7. Get out of here. That's not a game anymore. It's not there. It's like we're talking about these other games and it's like normal normal earthling human beings. And then we talk about Dead by Daylight, and it's fucking Broly. It's fucking Broly in comparison to these other games. And these are legit games. Street Fighter, Counter-Strike, League of Legends. These are legit games. I hate League of Legends, but you gotta give it what it deserves, right? Like these are legit competitive games, and our win streaks are 2 digits. Dead by Daylight isn't even 3 digits, it's 4 digits. What are we doing? What is this conversation? You guys are, that's how delusional you guys are. You guys are DBZ levels of delusional. Do you understand that? You are DBZ levels of delusional. Listen to Super Elf talk about this.
Alright, chat, the streak may be over. I think it's over. I've got 4 comp players in my lobby. One of them is one of the most successful comp players of all time. This is doable. This is gonna be tough, but this is definitely doable. Okay, they have, like, no gem progress. That's something. I can injure everyone here and then go for a snowball. Wow. Reaction time of God. I thought this was a good map, but I'm playing against 4 comp players that are all gonna have experience on this map. So it's like playing this map against these guys is like terrible for me because they know exactly how to play it. Like this is the map the Wraith set is played on. I can't believe that. Like every time I go to just swing through the pallet, I get stunned. Every time I don't go through to swing through it, they just W key straight through. Painful last game. Damn, this streak is gonna be difficult. This has nothing to do with the streak. This is just like, this is just the 1 in 100 where you get an incredibly, incredibly good team in pubs. Like, this is nothing to do with the streak at all. This is just like a 1 in 1,000 DBD game. This is horrible though. Like, genuinely playing against players that know how to play like every single loop. Like getting 4 competitive players on the killer on the map that they practice. Well, he has fucking made for this. Oh, fuck this game, bro. Like the one time I have a good situation, he has a pickup into made for this, so the save is just free. Yeah, I had a feeling. There was like one guy, I didn't know where he was, where like they're completely fucked and they have like a 1 perk scenario to save them. This guy has sprint burst. I'm shocked that he doesn't know that Wraith can hit that. MFT. Brilliant perk. 10 out of 10. The other guy's right here, right? I don't think I've ever been so miserable in my life than when that fucker had made for this, so he gets the unhook for free.
This is like a guy that like killer players like worship, and it's like he's talking about these win streaks, and he's like, you can play 1,000 games, and only 1 game is gonna be challenging, and you can still win it. And it's like, so like, how can these players say that, but then also take win streaks seriously? Because is that really even a 1,000 win streak at that point, or is it really just 1? I feel like it's just 1. If you can play 1,000 games, if you got to sift through all this shit, and there's like 1 diamond, all that shit doesn't really count as diamonds, right? So like, how is it that you can play thousands of games and you only get like a couple good matches, and you consider that a multi-thousand win streak? It's so fucking asinine. You know what? I just let Scott finish what the fuck stupid shit he's talking about.
For me to win, especially with not like, a top 5 or 6 killer. And that's, I think, okay, but it should come with survivors finally going, okay, the game is fair now. We're not going to DC for every little thing, but it hasn't. And that's why it's so frustrating. They keep getting more and more things, but it seems to never be enough. And I'm really worried that next patch
You're right, Scott. It does seem to never be enough.
just going to have possibly the biggest buff survivors have gotten as a blanket, you know, not involving perks, just generic base changes to the game. One of the biggest buffs they've gotten in recent memory. And I think we're still going to have the exact same shit. We're still going to have people getting hit in the first 30 seconds of the match and giving up. And I don't know how to fix it anymore. The problem, I think, is matchmaking.
Get rid of Lethal Pursuer, dude. That perk is a problem. That perk is a problem. Hiding is a core element of this game, and Lethal Pursuer single-handedly eliminates it. Yes, no shit. No matter what you do, people are still going to rage quit because of Lethal Pursuer. And I can't say I blame anyone for it. It still sucks if I had to be one of those other survivors that has to deal with the rest of the match. But it's still like, man, Lethal Pursuer it was a terrible idea. It was a terrible idea.
Matchmaking, you need to have good matchmaking to have teammates that are your skill level and killers that are your skill level, and I think that alleviates a lot of...
You know what's crazy too? Like 173 win streak, all right? Even if you wanted to do some weird rough math and be like, well, okay, so that's like maybe like one individual survivor escaping. If we wanted to kind of account for the fact that there are 4 survivors and 1 killer, we could multiply that win streak by 4 and then compare it to the killer win streak.
If it were equal, it would be like 4-1, right?
It still isn't even fucking in the same universe. We could round that up to 200. We could round that up to 200, multiply that by 4, and it's only 800, which is less than half of the killer win streak. It's like... Yeah, what the fuck are we talking? There's just so many ways to look at this, and none of them.
But until that's
none of them are what you want it to
are
be,
just
Scott.
telling behavior and complaining about
community.
the wrong things here, and that is going to result in an endless loop where killers are relegated to only playing the best killers, which makes survivors more upset, which makes them more entitled, which makes them ask for more, which makes more changes to buff survivors happen, which makes more killers only play the top 4 killers now than the top 3 killers. Before long, it's just nurse and blight. And like, it's just this. You see the death spiral I'm talking about here. There has to be a line in the sand drawn. And I'm not saying every survivor is entitled. I would say probably not even half of them are entitled. Most of them are just fine. But it's just too much. It's too much now. I feel like there's nothing I can do. Even if I play super nice, I get 2 hooks on everybody. Someone's still fucking bitching in endgame chat. Someone's still just complaining or DCing or giving up or just killing themselves. And I'm sick of it. Where does it end? I'm annoyed that I have to be one-sided here, but it's got to stop.
Yeah. I mean, it's funny. Like, I agree with some of what he says, but it's like half of the things that I agree with him about, he got there in, like, the wrong way, which does kind of matter. And it's just, like, dude, I don't know. Like, I don't know. Do I really even need to say more than I've said? Like, jeez, I hate this fucking community.
I'm doing a spirit win streak, and I have a perk on that I've never even used before. And these guys have very clearly stream sniped my lobby to try and end the streak. I even asked Super Alf how many times he went against builds like this with Styptics on his entire 1,100 win streak on Nurse, and he said it happened to him 0 times.